Welcome to Worthy Ones, the video series where each and every week I share with you the newest issue 1 comic books that I read for the current comic book week and deem them worthy or not worthy. Guys, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content and you like me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, and you've been watching for a while and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, guys, go ahead and do so now. So, not a ton of new number ones that I did read this week, so we do have a couple issue 2s, and we got like an issue 8, so let's just have some fun, shall we? The first book we're talking about is not an issue 1, it's not an issue 2, it's not even the beginning of a new story arc, but it's a kick-ass comic. And this is Rook Exodus issue 8. I was like, wow, there's not that many new number ones, so why not talk about Rook? Because it's such a good book. This is a 32-page comic for the price of $4. This book is written by Jeff Johns. The art is done by probably one of my favorite artists, is Jason Fabok. Absolutely gorgeous. Just the artwork alone in this book is absolutely stunning. It's a visual masterpiece. It keeps you at the edge of your seats. It just captures what sci-fi really is here. And the only issue with this particular issue is that it's such a fast read. There's not a lot of dialogue in here. So you get through it really quickly, and when you get done with it, you're just kind of like, oh man, that's it? Like, really? That's all that happens? And to me, you know, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because you want that comic book to last, right? But when you're wanting more, you know it's a well-told story, and it's a well-told story done visually. So that's what I loved about it. So this comic book is absolutely worthy. Now, what the story is about is basically we have Dire Wolf and we have Rook trying to go after her father because he is the one that can maybe fix the Earth again, get that world engine actually terraforming the Earth so it can function again, so these guys can survive, right? And they have to go into the tunnels to find the dad, and nevertheless, as they go through these tunnels, they come across some crazy dangers like these mutated spiders. And again, that artwork you get in here is absolutely insane. And seeing them do battle against these spiders was absolutely amazing. You come across another warden by the time you get to the end of it. And then in the next issue, I guess we're going to get introduced to the arachnid warden here. So this book, like I said, is so good. And even though the story is, you know, super fast, I got to give this book an A+. It's just a visual masterpiece, like I said, and it just delivers each and every time it comes out. I definitely would say if you've never read this, do yourself a favor, pick up the hardcover deluxe edition to this for $40. You're going to get that artwork that really pops, and you're going to really enjoy that story. So this issue 8 was definitely a great read. The next book we're talking about is an actual book that I bought kind of on impulse. There wasn't a lot of new number ones that I was particularly jumping on this week. And I was like, you know what? Why not check out Harley and Ivy, Life and Crimes? This is issue 1. Kind of was curious to see how these two actually got together. This is that origin story here. This one is 32 pages for the price of $4. This one is written, drawn, and colored by Erica Henderson. So my hat's off for going all out there and doing this type of book. It's never easy. However, it's not my favorite art style, and I get what we're going for here. We're going for more like a cartoony, animated style of art. This is your more traditional, like Harley Quinn, before the Harley that we know today, right? And so people might like this book because it is a more traditional Harley, and it just wasn't always my favorite art. I just felt like it lacked a little bit in the detail, and I felt like when it came to the story-wise, I would love to have seen a little bit more meat on the bone when it comes to this story. It was just kind of like, hey, Harley's in this chemical, plant where, her appearance had changed, and she's kind of reflecting on that, and she's doesn't know what to do with the Joker. Should she stay with the Joker? Shouldn't she? And then she comes across Poison Ivy, and then obviously they get into situations with each other. You wind up getting to see Joker in there, and this book seems like it takes place during, I would say, like the New 52 era, when we wind up getting Joker when he had his face kind of strapped onto to him, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. I really couldn't get into it. It was like a 5-minute read, and I just expected more. So for me, unfortunately, this book was not worthy. I have no problem with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy being together, and I feel like when it comes to an origin story of their relationship with each other, I would have loved to seen more dialogue, right? For instance, I did read Absolute Green Lantern already this week, and I'll go into it more when we get to that point. But when you want to talk about a relationship story on how two people got together, the way that story was told was absolutely phenomenal. And here, I just didn't get that. So for me, it was lacking. And unfortunately, I gave this one a D+. It just didn't hit the mark for me. Again, the art was kind of cute, and I see what they were going for here, but I just think personally it missed the mark, and I will not be continuing this one. The next book we're talking about this week is Planet Death. This is issue 2. This is a 48-page comic for the price of $6, published by Bad Idea Comic Books. This one is written by Derek Kolstad and Robert Venditti, and the art is done by Tomas Grillo. When it comes to the artwork, this is another book that's absolutely stellar. I really enjoy it. In this book, we get to see a lot of flashbacks from our lone survivor in this whole army of soldiers that was dropped on to destroy these aliens. And basically, it's repeated over and over again. Destroy the weapon, come back home, right? And you just get to see a lot of action in this issue as well. This was another one of those books where it's really the story is told through the artwork, right? But what this story had for me is it had that great action, and it delivered a lot of emotion because you wind up getting to see what this soldier by the name of Scott is going through, what gets him through these tough and dark times. He visualizes his wife, he visualizes his daughter as he's, being destroyed or possibly killed by these aliens. He's going through the darkest times of his life. He is consoling another fellow soldier that is dying, and he's talking to him about his family. And so this was a very heartfelt type of issue, right? And by the time you wind up getting to the end, we come to the point where this guy winds up finding more prisoners, and it's just like, oh yes, let me try to defeat these aliens so I can have soldiers on my side. So is he successful? You'll have to read it to find out. This book was worthy. I actually like this second issue better than the first one. It had a nice mix of action, great artwork, it had some heart, and it left you with a great cliffhanger. So again, even though I would have liked a little bit more in-depth storytelling, the art did a good job at telling the story for you. And I'm definitely will be checking out issue 3 here. So I'm going to give this one a B+. It was definitely another fun read for me. Our next book we're talking about is a Marvel comic, and this is Planet She-Hulk. This is issue 1. It's a 32-page comic for $5. This one is written by Stephanie Phillips, and the art is done by Aaron Kuder. Now, when it comes to Aaron Kuder's artwork, sometimes he's a hit or a miss for me. He's done some like Wolverine books or X-Men books in the past, and the artwork is pretty decent in this book. It's not always my favorite. I've seen better She-Hulk in the past, but it's fine. And you do get this crazy scene with She-Hulk like literally in the bathtub for like 6 or 7 pages, which I felt like it's not necessary. And it's kind of like the setup of what's going to happen in this comic book, right? But when you do get to see actual She-Hulk or Jennifer Walters battle against alien big, gigantic arena monsters. It's a lot of fun, okay? So that's when the book actually shines here, right? So why did I pick this up? Well, one, this kind of is playing off the heels of the Imperial one-shot, and that was actually pretty good. I'm a fan of Jennifer Walters. I'm not going to lie. I read her series back in the day, and I think she's a sexy, confident character, and I think her humor is great, so I always check out She-Hulk comic books, right? So in this particular issue, we wound up getting to see her still be in charge of the planet Sakaar. Hulk was supposed to be back within 5 days, and he's not back within 5 days, and Jennifer is kind of like over it and she wants to leave. So it's like she is invited to this particular party or wedding or whatever it is, where this leader is actually marrying one of the widows from one of the guys that died in the last one-shot issue. So she figures, okay, well, if I tend this and I can get cozy with the guy that has the spaceships and I can leave, like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to do what I need to do to get off this hole, right? But by the time you do get to the end of this, you wind up getting to see some different types of enemies infiltrate this area, right? And you're just kind of like, oh my God, so who are these people? What's going to happen? And obviously Jennifer Walters is going to be stuck on Sakaar for a little bit longer. This book was gorgeous. Listen, it wasn't the best comic book I've ever read, and the artwork was good, but it still wasn't the best drawn comic book. And I like Stephanie Phillips as a writer. There's definitely some things that I have read from her that kind of really shines. I love the Captain America, like, Capwolf book that she did. She currently writes the Spider-Gwen book, which seems to be up on the rise for me. And I'm going to continue to see where this goes. I think it needs a little bit more time to see if I'm going to enjoy it or not. So I did, like I said, enjoy it somewhat. So I'm going to give it kind of that average grade. I'm going to give it like a C+ for me. And we're going to see kind of where it goes from here. Alien vs. Captain America. This is issue 1. Marvel Comics publishes this one with 20th Century Studios. 32 pages, $6 for this book. Frank Thierry does the writing, and the art is done by Stefano Raphael. The artwork in this comic book is actually really nice. We just get to see some cool Captain America moments in here, that and Hydra right from the start, so I thought that was really cool. And this takes place during the war, so I thought that was a cool time period. I wasn't expecting this to take place back then, and we wind up getting to see Hydra trying to find this particular weapon that's going to give them the advantage in the war. Can you guess what that weapon is? Yeah, it's the aliens, right? So they go to this specific temple. They do some studies. It is attached to the Inhumans here. And the next thing you wind up seeing is they come across those alien eggs. And it starts off just like every other alien movie, right? It's like the facehugger comes. It embeds the people with aliens inside their bodies, and then the next thing you know, somehow Hydra is in control of the alien monsters, right? And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't want to give away any more because I don't want to spoil it, but you do get like Captain America, you get Bucky, you get the Howling Commandos in here, so it is a very much worthy comic book. I had a fun time reading it. I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely worried. The same worriness I had, was, if that's even a word, when it came to like the Predator comic books. And the Predator comic books were actually really good. And now we're getting the Predator versus the Marvel Universe, or kills the Marvel Universe. So maybe the Alien thing kind of does the same thing. I don't know. But this first issue was really great, and I'm very curious to see, like, how is Hydra going to contain these aliens? I don't know, man. I think they're going to fail, but we shall see. At the end of the day, this one gets a solid B for me. I definitely recommend this one. The next book we're talking about is definitely not a number 1. It's not a number 2, but it is the beginning of a new story arc. So this is G.I. Joe, issue 13, part 1. of 5 when it comes to the Dreadnought War. So I've been highly anticipating this one for a very long time. 32 pages, $4 for this comic book. It's written by Joshua Williamson. The art is done by Tom Riley. I think the artwork in this comic is really well done. I love Cobra Commander in this series. Look at the way he's drawn. I love this robotic arm that he has that gives him like these powers. I think it's Energon powered. And I love when he wears the cape. What do you guys think, right? I just think it adds something to him. It adds that, I don't know, that more like commanding figure, right? I just think he's awesome. So this comic book is a great jumping on point because it does give you a good little 2-page spread here of kind of like how the Transformers got here, what's going on with the Joes and Cobra. And so if you want to jump on G.I. Joe, again, I think this is a great point, right? And so what happens in this comic book is that there's a lack of Energon now. So we wind up seeing Cobra try to look for this Energon. There's a specific blip on the map that has this reading, and the Joes find this same blip on their map. So it's kind of a race to find this Energon. That's kind of what this book has been about, finding these resources, right? And then what happens is Cobra Commander is like, he's leading the charge, and then there's a betrayal. Who is the bad guy here? Who's the one that betrays Cobra Commander? You'll definitely have to read that to find out. But if you know G.I. Joe, you know who that guy is, right? And I knew it. I called it from the start. And this person set another person up to set up a trap, and it's great, right? And an unlikely ally comes around to help save the day. Just a really fun book, a really great issue, definitely worthy. Probably, I would say, in the maybe top 3 G.I. Joe issues from this run that I have read so far. So this is setting things up to become a fun Dreadnought War. So at the end of the day, giving this one an A+. This was a fun read. Definitely recommend this issue. DC KO Knightfight issue 1. This is probably one of the books where everybody was picking up, especially if you're following like DC KO, or even if you're not reading KO and somehow you're a Batman fan, you're going to want to pick this bad boy up. This one is 32 pages for the price of $4. This one is done by, once again, another Joshua Williamson comic book. Like, this dude's fire. Like, he's cooking right now, and you just can't deny his writing ability. It just seems to be getting better. And the art here is Dan Mora, and this is some of Dan Mora's best artwork. There's so much that goes on in this comic book, and this book actually features a lot of Robins in here, so you get to see some of your favorite characters, right? There's some great 2-page spreads in here that showcases the Gotham that Batman gets transported to after his death from the DCKO tournament, which is no spoiler there. We all knew that because of the preview. And then he comes across all these different Robins, and you're like, whoa, these are Robins that you never even knew of, right? And so what happens in this comic book is Batman's trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this timeline that he has got transported to. Because at first he thought, okay, if he got eliminated from the tournament, he's going to get transported back to Gotham. But this is completely different. This is somewhere into the future. He comes across a bat tower. Like, holy shit, what's this bat tower, right? And then he comes across another Batman that took his place. Who is that Batman? Who are all these Robins? Well, you're just going to have to find out. It's a great, great story. I really, really love this one. And again, the artwork by Dan Mora is absolutely outstanding. And who knows what's going to happen going forward with this particular series as he deals with other Robins. But this is very much a story where Batman is obviously, you know, Bruce is addicted to being Batman. It's about him letting go of being Batman, right? This book is so worthy. Like, it is so worthy to the highest degree. And I gotta give this one also another A+. So there was definitely some really good books released this particular comic book week. I'm excited about it. I think, you know, this year has been a much improved years when it comes to comics. I just wish Marvel would follow suit. But nevertheless, DC, KO, Knightfight, worth your hard-earned cash here. And there you have it, webheads. There are the newest issue 1s and a couple of issue 2s and a 13 and an 8. But hey, we get the video done anyway, right? And don't forget about After the Poll on Mondays as I showcase the rest of the comic books that I read for the comic book week and kind of see which book gets the pick of the week, whether it's from the Worthy Ones group, whether it's the indies, whether it's the Marvel or DC. You'll have to wait and find out. Until then, there is still time to enter my Mark Spears contest. That's right, guys, doing a giveaway on Saturday. I'll leave that video right here for you to click on. I will announce the winner on the community tab. There's not going to be a video, so you got to stay tuned for that post. And as always, guys, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting. Always read your comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you real soon. Bye.